many more videos caught your breath yet? What an incredible, dramatic, riveting slate of games this week in the wide world of soccer, courtesy of the ever-reliable Champions League and Europa League. From Roma's epic comeback, to Juventus putting the fear of God into Real Madrid, to Liverpool's Grim Reaper act on City and more craziness with Marseille, Salzburg and even CSKA Moscow. Relive the very best of an insane week in a brand new edition of 90 Minutes Top 5. Miracle at the Olimpico. Raise your hand if you predicted this one. The least unlikely all of the possible comebacks, at least in the eyes of 99% of the soccer world, took place on Tuesday, to the shock of even the most optimistic of fans. Roma overcame a 4-1 first-leg result to upset Barcelona 3-0 at a red-hot Stadio Olimpico, and advanced to its first semi-final in 24 years, one of the biggest upsets in recent Champions League memory. To understand the magnitude of what happened on Tuesday, Roma, the fourth-place team in Serie A that squeaked by Shakhtar Donetsk to get to the quarters, eliminated the runaway undefeated La Liga leaders with Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez and Andres Iniesta on the pitch. It had to be the perfect storm. It had to take the very best Roma against the worst Barcelona. That is exactly what happened at the Olimpico. Eusebio Di Francesco had the perfect game plan to close any and all spaces for Messi and company, and his players executed it to perfection, with the added element of a never-say-die attitude and energy. In contrast, Ernesto Valverde approached the second leg in the worst possible way, playing to keep their 3-goal lead, which allowed Roma to overwhelm them on sheer tactics and fight. Take the two and mix them together, and the result was an epic comeback at the expense of one of the favorites to win the whole thing. Point 2. Bitter end for those Madrid fans who celebrated and jeered their rivals' debacle in Rome. They had no idea what was coming their way the very next day. Real Madrid did not suffer the same fate as Barcelona, but did they ever come close? Juventus mounted a remarkable comeback from after a 3-0 defeat in Turin, turning Real Madrid into a nervous wreck for the better part of 97 minutes before falling in the most poetically tragic of ways. After Mario Mandzukic's brace and Blaise Matuidi's goal off a bad Keylor Navas mistake, Mehdi Benatia, in the 93rd minute, pushed Lucas Vazquez right at the 6-yard line, handing the Blancos their only lifeline towards the semi-finals that went from being a sure thing to an absolute toss-up. Amid the brouhaha created by Michael Oliver's call come one of the most talked-about moments of the week. The Englishman sent Gianluigi Buffon off after the goalkeeper's aggressive protesting of the penalty, effectively ending his Champions League career in the most unceremonious way possible. Ultimately, Cristiano Ronaldo, who else, rescued his team from a historic collapse by converting the penalty kick. But, as he astutely said afterwards, the scare better be a lesso for Madrid if they aspire to win their 13th Champions League trophy. Point 3. Red Inferno. Manchester City's nightmare week had the most bitter of ends on Tuesday at the Etihad. In what is becoming almost a habit, Jurgen Klopp did it again to Pep Guardiola, finishing him and City off with a valiant 2-1 road win to advance to the semi-finals of the Champions League. For those who did not get to see how it all unfolded, simply imagine last weekend's Manchester derby, substitute one red team for the other and the result is what happened on Tuesday. Guardiola sent out a lineup designed to steamroll the Reds right off the gate, resulting in an early goal that awakened hopes of a comeback. It was the ideal first half for a City side that looked every bit the side that has dominated the Premier League all season. And, as was the case on Saturday, then came the second half. 1 minutes after the halftime break, Mohamed Salah managed to break City's fragile defensive scheme, stopping their momentum dead on its tracks. Another second-half collapse did City in, costing them the most desired prize at the hands of their tormentors. Point 4. But wait, there's more. If the Champions League quarter-final games were insane, the Europa League certainly made an honest attempt to outdo them. Comeback bids were aplenty on Thursday, some successful and some that just fell short. One of the latter took place in Russia, as CSKA Moscow gave Arsenal a run for their money, taking a 2-0 lead and coming to within one goal of upsetting the English giants before Hector Bellerin and Danny Welbeck squashed any hopes of a Roma-like performance by the home side. The other failed comeback way west, specifically in Lisbon. Atletico Madrid survived their visit to Sporting, who made every attempt to force extra time with the former champions. However, Fredy Montero's lone goal was the only one of the game, sending Atletico closer to another Europa League trophy. On the crazy side, Marseille and RB Leipzig put on quite the slugfest at the Velodrome, trading goals until one of them could no more. The Germans entered with a narrow 1-0 lead, but Marseille simply were too much on this night, scoring 5 goals to Leipzig's 2 to turn the tie around and advance as well. Last but not least, Leipzig's brother from another mother, Salzburg, pulled off an impressive performance to narrowly come back from 4-2 down on aggregate and eliminate Lazio from the competition. 5. Goal of the week. Lost in all the Champions League insanity this gem produced in the English Championship in Wednesday. With Wolverhampton up 1-0 against Derby County, Portuguese midfielder Ruben Neves whipped out this absolute stunner from way downtown to seal the Wolves' victory. Caption.